Hi everyone, welcome to the Sunset Session. You can also find the Sunset Session on Wrazel's Cannabis Business Network. I am Dave Belsky, CEO and founder of Flower Hire. On today's Sunset Session, we have a very special guest, Manndie Tingler, the CEO and founder of Khemia. Khemia is a brand producing products designed to help normalize cannabis use among working females and mothers. Manndie is also a sitting board member of the National Cannabis Industry Association. Manndie, thank you so much for joining.
I'm excited to be here. What an amazing view. I totally get the name of the show now, by the way.
Sunset, it's coming. We might be a little early, but it's coming.
It's gorgeous.
So a lot to talk about today. I mean, the first one, I think, I'm sure as a professional female and working mother, you have a lot of thoughts about why you wanted to tackle this niche, personal reasons, but talk to me about working mothers and females and how they are currently represented by cannabis brands.
Yeah, so I love when people ask me this question because we actually did a ton of market research about this. When Khemia first came into the market, we really wanted to solve two problems. We wanted to help legacy operators keep working in the cannabis space, and then we also really were looking at the marketplace and what current products were available. And like 96% of what was in the market was targeting a male consumer. The others were what we would consider like perhaps a gender neutral type of product. But there really wasn't enough in the market that gave me this like connection to the product. I would hear it was good and effective, but it never was something that I was like, the packaging's okay, whatever, I'll take it home.
It wasn't authentic for you as a customer.
It wasn't resonating with me.
One thing you didn't mention, which is surprising, is there were also brands for women designed by men.
Yes.
In the marketplace.
Which is also funny. We don't have to go too deep into the commentary on that one, but I mean, we appreciate the effort, of course, but.
So talk to me about I mean, it's not an easy and simple, straightforward answer, but obviously adult use in California and now being 3 years into that roughly has helped that normalization, but there's a lot of curiosity, there's stigma, talk to me about the process of what you're seeing as a mother and as a professional female. Is that happening behind the scenes already?
Sure. So, I started using cannabis when I was 17, and I remember it being this really secretive thing.
Oh, yeah.
You definitely didn't let your parents know. There was, especially where I grew up, very conservative.
And there were no vapes, too, so people would know if you were using.
You would know. Yeah. And I remember being 17 years old and being terrified that my parents were going to find out, right?
Really?
The crazy thing is that as I got older and became a mom myself, I still found myself using cannabis, but all of a sudden, now I have to hide it from my kids, right? And then thinking, why do I have to hide this from my kids when it's perfectly acceptable for me to have all of my kids as friends' moms over for a couple of bottles of wine? That's no problem. It's hurting our insides, Yeah. But why does cannabis have this stigma? Why do I have to worry about all of the elements that come with this? And so now that we have kind of come full circle in the industry and we're able to be very public about it, I'm so excited. There's been quite a journey for me through that process.
I'm sure. I mean, well, starting off when you entered the industry during the medical days to now, like you've really, just in terms of what you're making and the products, you're getting more towards the wellness category, getting more towards, reaching a bigger audience. When 5 years ago it was about like just making really good weed with a stoner vibe. Right.
Exactly.
And there wasn't really a lot of real brand, creation, and
I think the culture
it was Purple Nugs.
Yeah.
Right, it was Purple Nugs.
Absolutely.
And now, I think the California cannabis industry has been the biggest explosion of trade marketing in mankind, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're trying to, see, women actually be able to get the same benefit that you have from using the plant. And how are in your words, how are women different from a consumer standpoint when you're talking about professional women and mothers?
Right. I think that there's, still the stoner stereotype. I think just naturally as mothers, we're the matriarchs of our household usually. We are seen as the people who set the standard, so to speak, in the home, especially if you've got young kids. There's this kind of societal expectation that we are supposed to be these epitome of perfection, or at least that's the pressure a lot of moms put themselves under. And actually, before I came into cannabis, I was actually a family therapist, and so I saw a lot of moms who were coming to me because they were anxious, they were putting a lot of pressure on themselves, their marriage was under a lot of duress, they were feeling anxious all the time, not sleeping well. You know, just a really nasty
modern
cycle,
stresses of
right?
adult life. Right?
And I remember thinking as a therapist that I go home at night after I leave work and I smoke a joint. But I can't legally tell my client to do this. So I found myself finding ways to encourage them to do it, because of course I didn't want to put myself at risk for getting in trouble for saying that. But I finally got to this point where it became a necessity for me to share this with people, and I stopped really caring about the getting in trouble part. I really felt like it was such a simple answer, and it would get women off of sleeping pills or drinking themselves until they fell asleep at night. A lot of women get this, it's this nasty cycle. You use alcohol or food to cope, you gain weight, you can't sleep, you're miserable because you don't feel good, it's whatever. But cannabis is so simple, right? It's natural, it has no calories, so if you are overindulging, you gotta just watch what goodies you have in the house at times, right?
Totally.
And it's holistic. I really think that cannabis allows moms to really be better moms in a lot of ways. I know personally, after I come home from running my business throughout the day, from dealing with the day-to-day stresses that moms just deal with. I mean, I'm dealing with a teenager and a fourth grader who are doing homeschool all day long right now, 6 hours a day, sitting in front of a computer screen. I'm the IT person, I'm the cafeteria lady, I'm the janitor, and I still gotta run my company. I gotta do all the things. And so I get really anxious because I put a lot of pressure on myself to be the perfect mom. If I can use a little bit of cannabis in a low dose throughout the day, I keep level-headed. I don't let the things that are getting them to melt down over really affect me. And it really allows me to kind of hear what is bothering them and arrive at a solution in a much more calm manner.
It centers you. It gets you back to neutral.
Absolutely. And my daughter actually, she really gets it. She's only 9.5 years old, and she really gets it. She actually has said to me a couple of times that certain people that she's encountered, out in the world, she said, Mommy, I think they might need a little bit of cannabis because they seem really stressed out. But she gets it, and I think that that's no different than saying I need a glass of wine or I need a beer or I.
Kids are incredibly intuitive.
Whatever it is, right?
It's amazing. So, and I think normalizing involves being able to communicate honestly and openly about how you use it. Obviously, education is such a necessity. In what I do, it's about what is it like to work in the industry, what and will I enjoy it, and what type of people are in the industry. And for you, it's about how do you bring that education to those target customers about it's okay, and this is why this is not going to be like the experience you had in college. This is why this could be therapeutic, and how it is, and how it has been for me. Like how do you create that message and that information when it's hard as a brand to get that out there?
Yeah, it is really hard when you're a new brand in cannabis, you have to be able to differentiate yourself right out the gate.
So selling to like sorry to cut you off, like selling to like the bud tenders, be able to make sure they can tell the story.
Tell your brand apart from the next one on the shelf, right?
Yeah. And you have an authentic story too, so they eat it up.
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
Khemia has been really blessed from the start, truthfully. I mean, we positioned ourselves in an industry where there was a huge demand. In actually, all of the data that we collected right before we started Khemia showed that female cannabis consumerism in California alone went up 92% in 2018. 92%.
Oh my God.
Okay? And we have continued this trend, and now what's happening is we're not just getting, women who are 21 years old that are out smoking weed with their girlfriends on a Saturday night. We're seeing women who are 65 years old coming into dispensaries and buying out entire inventory of gummies because they want to not have to take their pain medication. Right?
Oh, well, and I'm married and I have children, and I've seen it just happen so quickly where like the moms that 5 years ago would have never been on the same page will all have a gummy and they'll all hang out and have a great time. And my grandmother, was 93 years old, asked me about different formulations she can try for her pain, and it's it's really exciting. So what type of products is Khemia, already have out there, and what else is coming down the pipeline to really tackle these?
Oh, thank you for asking. I'm actually really excited about this. We so currently right now we have a variety of flower products. We really wanted to produce a line of products that, number one, when a woman goes into a dispensary and sees the packaging, it's something that she would buy if it were on the shelf at any other retail spot because it speaks to her. And then we pick strains that are really specific for targeted outcomes. We have strains that induce, calmness. We have strains that will give you a little bit of energy. We've got strains that will help you sleep better at night. So we really kind of target in and we speak the consumer's language and get them, when you're talking about indicas and sativas, first of all, I don't even know that those terminologies really apply after all of the knowledge we have now, but let's talk about just the consumer wants to know, what is this going to do for me, right? So we do a lot of education around terpene profiles and whatnot in our flower and our pre-rolls, but our new product lines, which I'm very excited to announce, we have some different phases of pre-rolls that we'll be launching between now and the end of October. We're going to be launching some mini pre-roll packs because, let's face it, no mom has time to stand around and smoke a full-ground joint by themselves. Give me a couple of puffs and I'm on my way. So we're going to do some nice dog walkers for moms. And then we're also actually going to be launching a warm beverage line. It'll be similar to like your hot chocolate packets, if you will. But we're going to be producing a hot chocolate that'll have mini marshmallows in it. We're going to be doing a chai, a latte with lavender, and also a mocha mix. And they'll all be different ratios.
It sounds delicious.
I'm really excited about them. So we'll have those out for the holidays this year. The release date for that will be November 1st. And then we also are doing a couple of other fun and interesting SKUs that are just really normal everyday items that anybody would use. We're actually going to be releasing an infused salt and pepper. And we just really want to make it so that you can incorporate cannabis in any way or shape possible.
What kind of salt?
We're going to be doing a Himalayan salt.
Ooh, so it's like a superfood with wellness kick.
With cannabis.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So I'm really excited about releasing those SKUs, and then next spring we'll have a whole line of kind of springtime beverage mix-ins release as well.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of innovation, and I think that you do understand your target consumer very well, and I think your products reflect that. But I also think that you will attract customers outside of your target because there is a market for lower dose, predictable. Is this going to have a similar effect to a beer or two? And I think that's how people think about it in a lot of ways. And I think you're making products that are great entrants for people into cannabis, and for that I salute you.
Thank you. We're excited about it. I think that women just need products that they can relate to. I mean, I was thinking about the other day, and every day, or at least a few days a week, I pull through a coffee drive-up place. And I would love if that had some kind of cannabinoid compound in it, you know? So we're making it. And
it'll happen. Switching gears here, last note, NCIA, obviously this industry needs a national voice. It needs a lobbying effort. I imagine revenues have taken a big dive this year with canceling all events and stuff. How can we support the NCIA right now?
Yeah, thank you for asking. NCIA, their number one funding is from our events. We actually raise probably 85% of the money that we utilize for lobbying efforts from our quarterly and annual events. So this year has been drastically difficult for the organization. What I will say is that if anyone is a current member at NCIA, thank you, we would love to talk to you about future sponsorship opportunities. We're kind of doing a bargain with advertising in exchange for prepaid services. And then we're also doing a lot of creative membership drives, especially offering free membership for social equity applicants. And we're really just in a position where we're looking for more hands to get on deck. Right now, we're at like the tipping point of making this federally legal.
Well,
and
100%.
It's all
feels
hands
like
on
that.
deck, especially right now with COVID.
I mean, the essential services designation put a big stamp on it, and obviously revenue and jobs. Like this industry is going to hire, could hire 1 million people in the next 5 years, or low end 500,000. That's a big fucking number, and those are jobs across the spectrum of humanity.
Yes.
You know, and really in good jobs that people enjoy. And that's really the most rewarding thing, is, as you know from your experience working in the industry, is when you're doing something you feel like makes the world a better place and you enjoy, you're happy at work and you're who you are.
Right.
And that's lost in modern society, and this industry gives people the chance to find that again, if they're the right people. It's not for everybody.
I agree. I know. I think that's one of the best parts about the industry, and with anything, you got to take it with the good with the bad. But the ride here is amazing. It's rough, but it's amazing. It's unlike anything else I've ever experienced.
Yeah, rough is correct. But because it's so amazing, and there's also amazing people, and there's just spirit of collaboration amongst folks who have been in it for a long time, mutual respect, appreciation for the journey, and that's not something that you see in a lot of other companies, right? And I appreciate you joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
This has been fun, really fun.
Absolutely, yes.
A little COVID
Thank you so
elbow,
much.
boom. Thank you.